Alrighty, everybody, what's going on? It is your boy Marcus, the Low Vision Snap player, and welcome back to another video. For this video, I am doing another season ranking. Yes, it is that time. Prehistoric Avengers is about to end in a couple days, so I thought, why don't I go ahead and make the rankings right now. So, for those of you who are new to the channel and you're wondering what I'm doing with this tier list, basically I'm going to be ranking all of the cards that I've collected throughout the course of the season, and I do this every season. Although I did miss a few, but again, like I said, at the end of seasons like Prehistoric Avengers, I like to take everything that I've collected and rank them from worst to best. Now, this is all personal opinion, so don't bash me in if your favorite card doesn't end up being my favorite. Also, I won't be ranking any variants that I've collected, so it's only just like the base ones. But without further ado, let's just get started. Now, let me tell you, this season was absolutely freaking amazing in terms of the amount of cards we collected. I have collected 16 cards. That's way better than what I got last season. So, let's kick off. First card that I'll be ranking is Spider-Ham. It is a 1-cost, 1-power card, so nothing special there. Its ability says, on reveal, transform the leftmost card in your opponent's hand into a pig, keeping its power and cost. So basically what that means is, when you play Spider-Ham down, he'll take the leftmost card of your opponent's hand, and he'll turn it into a pig. Here, let me go into Snap, and I'll actually show you what that looks like. So it looks something like this. This is what the pig looks like. When Spider-Ham transforms your opponent's card into the pig, it'll still keep its power and cost. However, it doesn't get to keep its ability, so it's kind of useless in a way. Now, as far as its ability and power, it's okay. It's not the worst card in the collection. I don't hate it, but I don't know. I don't think it's that great or amazing. So Spider-Ham is going to be in the cancel. Here we go, photo library. So we're gonna get Spider-Ham and save. Here we go. Spider-Ham is gonna go into the average tier. Next up after Spider-Ham, I have Hercules. This dude is a 3-cost, 5-power card, and it says, the first time another card moves here each turn, move it to another location. So, basically, the way his ability works is, like, let's say you played a card like Silk or something. If Silk moves, no. Let's say you moved Nightcrawler over to where Hercules is. He'll move Nightcrawler again. Now, ability-wise, this is another case where I'm just not too big of a fan of him. Like, as far as moving cards go, he's just fine. I've experienced better move cards. Mostly Red Wing. I really liked Red Wing from the last season. But, yeah, I'm just not feeling this one. So, and again, Hercules is not terrible. It's not a terrible card. It's just that not really feeling the ability side of things. So let me get Hercules. Let me get Hercules, and he will go alongside Spider-Ham in average. After Spider-Ham, we have the season pass cards. Agamotto, a 5-cost 10 power card, and it says game start, shuffle 4 ancient arcana into your deck. Now, basically, this card is actually kind of cool because the arcana kind of gives your deck a whole. The arcana kind of opens up a lot more strategies. When you have Agamotto in the deck. So let me go into the game so I could show you each one. So there are four different spells or arcana. First one is Temporal Manipulation, and it says, on reveal, give Agamotto +3 power, basically making him a 5/13 or a 5-cost 13 power card. And then it says, put this in your hand if he's not in play. So let's say, on turn 1, he doesn't show up, or on any of the turns, he's not in your hand. You can basically play Temporal Manipulation, and he will put Agamotto. It will put Agamotto into your hand. Next up, we have Winds of Watum, and it says on reveal, afflict an enemy card here with -5 power, and move it to the right. So if you had something like a Diamondback in your deck, right, you could play Winds of Watum, and it will move your card and your opponent's cards and afflict it with -5. Now, one thing I forgot to mention is that all of these cards have a text that says banish this, and basically that means that once the card is used, it can no longer be revived, or you can't revive it or anything. So that's why you'll notice that these don't have any power. Next up, Next up, there is Bolts of Bothok. I think that's how you say it. But it says, on reveal, next turn, you get +4 energy, which is pretty huge. So, let's say it's turn 3, right? And you already have Agamotto on the board, and you want to get him out. Or maybe it's not even Agamotto. Maybe you want to try to get something like a Doctor Doom, or an Ultra, or anything big. Or you probably just want to use that to get multiple cards on the board. This card is really good for doing that. Or that arcana is pretty good for doing that. I would say you're definitely going to use Temporal Manipulation and Bolts of Bothok the most, at least from my experience. And then you have Images of Icon. It says, on reveal, transform your other cards here into copies of the highest power one. So let's say you have the Hulk, right? And then you have your other lower power cards. Basically, when you play Images of Icon, where that Hulk is, all your other cards will transform into the Hulk, pretty much. And that's it. Those are all of the arcana. Now, I'm not going to necessarily rank them individually because that would take long, but honestly, Agamotto as a whole, he's pretty dang solid. I mean, you could pretty much slap him in almost any deck that you could think of. So I think Agamotto is going to be the first card that enters the amazing tier. Now, I'm not trying to be biased or nothing, but I just feel like this card has a lot of potential. So honestly, I would highly recommend that you pick this one up. Pick up the season pass before prehistoric Avengers is over, and if you're able to, pick up the variant because it's pretty cool. But after Agamotto, we then move on to Lady Deathstrike, a 5-cost 7 power card. So it says, on reveal, destroy each card here with 3 or less power. So basically, if you have like a X-23 or maybe even a Deadpool or probably Wolverine too. When you play Lady Deathstrike, she will basically destroy your cards that are less than 3 power. And it's not just your cards, it could be your enemy's cards too. So if your opponent has like if your opponent has, what's a good example? Like an Ant-Man or something, and you don't want them to get that extra power after they played like a Brood, you can play Lady Deathstrike to get rid of that Ant-Man and potentially your other cards as well. As far as destroyed cards go, I've definitely played with better ones, and I think, yeah, I've played with better destroyed cards, mostly Nimrod, but I think again she's okay. Well, actually, there have been cases where, no, I think I'm still gonna put her in average. I'm still gonna put her in average, or should I put her in great? No, yeah, because I think there's still better. There's still a lot better cards out there. So Lady Deathstrike is going. Lady Deathstrike is going into, bam, average. So the average tier is definitely going to get filled up quickly. After Lady Deathstrike, we have Laufey. On reveal, steal 1 power from each other card here. So it's kind of like, how can I explain it? It's kind of like a man thing in a way. I don't know, but he's a 4-cost 5 power card. So like, let's say you have all your other cards, and your opponent has a bunch of cards on the board. You can play Laufey, and it'll take away your opponent's power. However, if you also have cards where Laufey is, he can take power from them too. So you kind of have to keep in mind of that. Now, this card was, you can get him from the Sanctum. You can unlock him from the Sanctum Showdown mode. And as far as like all three, I think he's as far as like Affliction goes, he's not, I don't think he's, you know what, I think Laufey, I would say he's pretty great. I mean, as long, like, if you have a Luke Cage, you could pretty much, take away your opponent's power too. So I think I'm gonna put Laufey in great. This way I don't want to fill up my. I don't want to fill up my average tier so quickly. So we're gonna go. We're gonna put Laufey in great. That's the first great card. After Laufey, we have MODOK, and it says, and he's a 5-cost 8 power card. On reveal, discard your hand. So he basically gets rid of your entire hand, which, you know, it can be pretty good if you have the right cards. However, it can also be pretty tricky. So, you know, in terms of a discarding thing, I think he's pretty good. Like, if you, because the deck that I have him in, if you played something, like, let's say you played Quinjet, you discarded Quinjet in a previous turn, and then you play MODOK afterwards, and you also have something like the Collector and Morbius, those two can kind of get pretty strong. And so I think it works pretty well. So he's going to go right next to Laufey. He's going to go right next to good old Alfie. Just like that. After Laufey, we go to, or no, after Modok, we have Havoc, a 2-cost 0 power card. It says, end of turn, you lose 1 max energy, and this gains 4 power. So basically, how can I explain it? It's like, let's say you play him on turn 2. Hold on, let me get on. So this is what max energy, the amount of energy you refill to at the start of each turn. So basically, if you play him on turn 2, he'll take away, like on turn 3, he'll take away that extra energy, and he'll gain extra 4 power, which in theory is pretty good, but then it's like, this is another case where you kind of have to be careful where you play him. And I did make a deck for him once, and honestly, I don't know, I just wasn't a fan. I don't know, man. This one's not really my favorite. So, like, yeah, I think this is where he's going to go into, because it's like, man, this is just, yeah, I had him in a deck, and it just didn't, I just wasn't a fan. I wasn't really a fan of having to, because it's like, again, you have to be careful when you play him and on what turn. Yes, he's going to get stronger, but you're going to be limited to what cards you can play. So yeah, I think for me personally, Havoc is just not, he's just not there. He's not quite the best. So right now, Agamotto holds the lead for the best card of the season. After Havoc, we have Uncle Ben. Now, when Sanctum Showdown came out, I didn't want anything. I did not want to get Uncle Ben, because you look at him first glance and it's like, wait, what? Like, why would you want him? What's the point of, like, why Spider-Man? What is that? How does that even benefit? He's a 1-cost 2-power card, and it says, when this card is destroyed, replace it with Spider-Man. So it's kind of like Bucky Barnes, but it's just like with Spider-Man. And again, at first I'm like, how? What? Why? It just doesn't make sense to me. But after playing him, I realized he actually has some potential. You can actually pull off some really good stuff with Uncle Ben. Like, check this out. Like, this is the kind of card where you might not want to destroy him early. So you know how with cards like Bucky Barnes or X-23 or even Wolverine, you play him on the board and then you hit him with Carnage or Venom, and you just destroy him and forget about it. It doesn't matter. With Uncle Ben, this is the kind of case where, you know, you could play him on turn 1, but maybe you wait until the end of the game and you play your Venom or your Carnage with where Uncle Ben is on the last turn. You destroy him and he'll spawn into Spider-Man. He will replace it with Spider-Man, which will move to another location and then move your opponent's cards. He could possibly help you win the game. I know that was a lot, but like, he can really come in clutch, like, if you're losing. Does it work all the time? Not necessarily, but when it does, it's freaking amazing. So you know what? I think he's gonna go alongside Agamotto. I never thought I would be saying that. I never thought I would be even doing that, but you know, Uncle Uncle Ben definitely surprised me. So for being one cost, he's kind of freaking amazing. Uncle Ben is going to go on top with Agamotto. There we go. 2 amazing cards of the season. I like where this is going. After Uncle Ben, we have Isun. So this was the first spotlight card of the season. And he's alright. You know, he's a 6 cost 10 power card, which is, like, power-wise, pretty solid. But as far as the ability, it's solid. Basically, what he does is at the end of the turn, he'll put a created card from your hand to the location that you play him. So, like, let's say, how can I put it? It's kind of like, let's say you play, like, what's a good example? I'm trying to think of what. Like, let's say you play something like Agent Coulson or something, or a card that creates another card, that generates another card, like, into your hand. When you play Easton, he'll take that generated card and he'll put it to where you've played him. But it's not my favorite. Like, ability-wise, it's not too crazy of an ability, but I guess in some ways he can be really good. But for me personally, I don't know. He's just kind of average. Man, my average tier is getting full. By the way, just a reminder, this is all solely my opinion, so please do not come after me. After Eason, we have Scar, a 7 cost 12 power card. This dude is kind of like Death, a mix between Death and, I guess, She-Hulk in a way. So his ability says costs 2 less for each of your cards that cost 10 or more power. So let's say you have, on turn 5, you have your Agamotto, or maybe you have something like Typhoid Mary. You've removed her ability with, like, a Sauron or something. And then you play Agamotto next turn. He gets cheaper, so you play your first 10 cost card, he'll go down to a 5. Then your next 10 power card, he'll go down to a 3. And if you manage to get another 10 power card on there, he'll be down to a 1, which is pretty crazy. So yeah, I mean, as far as, like, being able to make him cheaper, and, like, if you're able to play a lot of 10 power cards early, you could pretty much add even more power to it. So I actually like that. I think he's going to go up into great. He's not amazing, but I think for what his ability can do, it's really solid. He could probably be, like, a big clutch play. So we'll put Scar in the great tier. After Scar, we have Madam Web, which says ongoing. You can move one of your other cards away from here each turn. So I guess Madam Web is like a Professor X, but you can move cards out. So if you had like a multiple man there, you could, I guess, move her out of the way. I don't know, man. It's like for like moving stuff around. She's okay to me. She's a 2-cost 1 power card, so nothing special there. Madam Web for me, I think is gonna go into, once again, going into average. 5 more cards left, guys. I promise. We're almost done. We're almost done. After Madam Web, we have Nico Minoru. I've been seeing this card being played a lot on many other content creators' channels, but Nico is a 1-cost 2 power card, and it says on review, after you play your next card, add a spell or cast a spell. The spell changes each turn. So basically, it's kind of like a mini version of Moto, right? So these are all the spells that you can potentially get. So this one will turn, one of them can turn you into a demon. The other one destroy the card that you just played to draw 2 additional cards. This one will move it to a location, and then this one will give it +2 power. This one's kind of like will change the location. So it's kind of like a fun little, like, it's kind of like a fun, card that can kind of shake up your deck and your strategies a bit. Is it like the best card in the world? No. It's not amazing. I don't think it's average, so I think Nico Minoru is going to go in great, into the great tier. So Nico, you will be joining the rest of the crew in the great tier. 4 more cards left. The last 3 I think are going to be pretty good. So that is what the tier list is looking like so far. After Nico Minoru, we have Cassandra Nova on review. Steel 1 power. So this is like another steel, but this one is for the deck. So you're not just stealing power from like cards out of the location. You're actually stealing from your whole opponent's deck. So think of it this way, right? You play your Cassandra Nova to steal power, right? And then you obviously make sure to play Luke Cage. And then if you have a Hazmat, you hit them with the Hazmat even more. And then if you have Diamondback, you could do even more damage. So as far as a toxic card, this one is really good. Is it better than Diamondback? I wouldn't say it's better than Diamondback, but I will say this card is definitely up there. And you know what? As far as toxic cards go for this season, I actually think she's pretty solid. Cassandra Nova is going into the amazing tier. It is looking really good. Cassandra Nova going into the amazing tier. There's only been one terrible card. Who knows? I might all change after we get to the last 3. So next up we have Dakin He's a 3-cost 4-power card, and it says on reveal, add the Muramasa shard to your hand. And the Muramasa shard basically. Let me pull up Dakin. This is the Muramasa shard right here. It says when this is discarded or destroyed, double Dakin's power. So, I mean, because Dakin, he's a 4, so he'll go up to an 8, which is pretty strong. But I mean, to be honest, there really isn't anything too crazy about it. You know, it's just kind of mid-tier for me. I mean, he's cool, but again, when you compare it to a lot of other discarding stuff, I don't think he quite hits the mark. So, Dakin is going to go once again into average. So Dakin is going into the average space. So now we got 2 more cards left. Second to last, we have the first Ghost Rider, which was a card that you can get from High Voltage, which is no longer available. This card says, it's a 2-cost 5-power card. It says, on reveal, discard the lowest power card from your hand. Remove that card's power from this. So, basically the way it works is he'll discard, let's say you played, so let's say he discards, let's see, what's an example? Let's say he discards your Dakin, right? When he discards Dakin, he will lose 4 power. He'll basically lose power, which I don't know. It's like, in some ways he's kind of good, but in other ways he's just not. I don't know, y'all. Because he's not necessarily getting better. He's getting worse. And I had some good ideas with him, but the ideas that I had just didn't really work out. So, I don't know, y'all. For being a 2 discard, I think he's not terrible. He's not a terrible card, but well, I don't think he's great either. Man. Well, I guess he's going in average again. God dang. Or actually not. Yeah, I'm gonna put him in terrible. Even though I know he's not. It's just like I'm so conflicted, guys. No, I'm gonna put him in terrible. I just think, like, I tried playing Viper with him, but that didn't really work out. I was trying to get him to discard a negative powered card, but yet somehow he didn't lose that much power. So I don't know. It's very tricky. It's a very tricky card, and I don't know. It's okay. It's not the greatest in the world. So he's going alongside Havoc just because his ability is kind of tricky, just like Havoc's. And that leads us to the last and probably the best card. And that is Khonshu. Let me zoom in because there's a lot going on with Khonshu. It says, when discarded, return it. Returns in its next phase. On reveal, resurrect the card that you discarded to another location with its power set to 5. So basically the way it works is when you discard Khonshu, he has different phases. So let me pull up Snap again. So this is Khonshu's first phase, right? 5 power. His second one will go up to 8. And then this final one would go up to 12. So you can discard him pretty much 2 times. After you discard him the third time, he is gone. So you kind of have to be careful how many times you discard him. But when you do play him, he can take a card. He'll take the card that was discarded, and he will play, and he will give it an additional like 12 power or whatever power that it is set to. And you know what? It's pretty freaking cool. And I've honestly been looking forward to this card kind of since the beginning of Prehistoric Avengers. So overall, man, I think Khonshu is freaking amazing. There it is, y'all. The final card, Khonshu. Now, if I had to make maybe one change, if I had to take one card and possibly drop it, I would probably, I'm going to move Cassandra Nova down a peg, I think. Because while Cassandra Nova is, like, while Cassandra Nova is pretty dang good, like, I just feel Khonshu deserves to take the amazing tier a little bit more. Even though I like how toxic her ability is, it just doesn't compare to what... It doesn't compare to what... Oh, come on. It doesn't compare to what Khonshu can do. So there it is. This is kind of the final standings right here. So hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. Don't forget to like and sub. Turn on those notifications. And once again, for those of you who are new, check out the beginner's guide video. But anyways, thanks for